5. Coming up on the Braves Sports Network, we have the Cedric Thomas program on this Monday night. We get ready for Mississippi Valley. We'll recap the McNeese game. We'll take all your questions and your comments and your text and your tweets as we played down in Lake Charles on Saturday. The Braves actually won some of the statistical battles. We'll talk about that with head coach Cedric Thomas. We'll take your phone calls and all of that. We'll put the non-conference schedule behind us, and we look ahead to Mississippi Valley State University. We'll take a timeout. Cedric Thomas program coming up after this.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
WPRL and WPRL.org, WMIS, WTYJ, 1240 AM, 97.7 FM, NatchesRadio.com, 90.1 WMPR in Jackson, and we are on YouTube, the Braves Sports Network. Coming up, we'll recap the McNeese game. Braves won a lot of the numbers, rushing the football. Vaughn with a 300-plus yards in total offense. We'll talk about special teams, had some things to deal with there, so we'll take all your questions, your comments, your texts, your tweets. We'll put the non-conference season behind us and get ready for a Valley team that's playing their first home game of the season with a new turf, with a new video board, and they came off a tough loss last Saturday to Nicholls State. So we'll take a timeout here. The Cedric Thomas program will get underway after this timeout on the Braves Sports Network.
You don't fight fair, so we'll just fight harder.
We didn't come here to play around.
You're going down.
Honestly, I hate you.
I'm stronger than you.
I'm more determined than you.
We're going to beat you, cancer.
Because the American Cancer Society
is on our team.
And together, we're unstoppable.
My name is John Calipari.
I'm Roy Williams.
I'm Jim Boeheim.
I'm Tubby Smith.
And I'm a coach versus cancer.
Can I get the now bar, please?
$1.
Have a good one.
Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure. $1.
Appreciate you.
Got it.
Welcome you to the Cedric Thomas program on the Braves Sports Network on this Monday. We're done with our non-conference games, and we'll get ready for conference play the rest of the way. Mississippi Valley, UAPB, Grambling Southern, back-to-back weeks, bye week, Alabama State, Texas Southern, Prairie View, and Jackson State. That's the slate coming up as we put the non-conference schedule behind us. UAB, Vanderbilt, Waters here, McNeese, and now we're done with those contests, and we get ready for Mississippi Valley. Glad you can join us here on the Braves Sports Network. You can participate in the conversation, 601-877-6595. You can text a question, 601-301-2611 on X, Tall Man Radio, and we will get this thing started with Braves head football coach Cedric Thomas. Coach Thomas, how you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm blessed, Mr. Charles.
Hey, I tell you what, trip to Lake Charles, and we're not going to be playing in case, we talked about it after the game. We will not be renewing the series with McNeese. So it's the last time, at least in the near future, that we'll see that team. But I look at the numbers, Coach, 80 plays. We have more plays run than they did, 80-59. Time of possession, we won that contest. But on the scoreboard, had some chances out there. Tough start to start the game, a slow start. Had some opportunities out there, but just couldn't quite get over that hump.
Yeah, numbers, they are misleading. Some of those numbers don't really entail, the core part of that ball game at the end. Well, it was out of hand. Guys played well and played hard down the stretch, but that's just the third game, out of four. We start, down 14, points, and you can't come back against really good football teams versus that. And then it's just unexcused, mishaps. We got a situation where yeah, we get a 3-and-out on offense, and we snap the ball, and Eli just drops it. We work that every single morning with dew on the ground and wet ball, and ball just go through through his hands, and so just starting too slow. But those are just things that we're shooting ourselves in the foot by doing, and so to ask any offense to come down, having to down 14, in 3 games, it's just tough on them, and defensively we didn't give ourselves a chance, didn't get enough stops. They moved the ball at will. We gave up 200 yards rushing. It was just a tough outing. And so we got a lot of things we got to clean up, a lot of work we got to do. Guys are chomping at the bits to get out this morning or in the morning to be able to fix it, but it starts with me and it ends with me, and I got to get it corrected. Right now I'm not excited at all about the product. We got a lot of people that's vested in what we're doing, and we're not giving anybody that's associated with us, to the liking that they should, and we got to do better. And like I said, and it started with me defensively. We're not tackling. We're not playing fundamentals. We give up a big play right before the half on a technique that we work every day in practice, and the guys don't make it. We're not drilling it enough. We got guys running wide open. Sometimes the quarterback can't hit them, and then when he do hit them, everybody wants the ball, and when they get it, they fumble the ball. And so, in all 3 phases, I wasn't pleased at all. Very disappointing. This was disheartening almost for me. The Texas Southern kind of tasted my mouth. And so we got some work to do. We got to pull our sleeves up. We got to get off the mat. That was the mantra to the guys on Sunday. And we got to get some things fixed. Whether it's personnel, whether it's system, whether it's scheme, or just motivation. We got to be able to do it. And like I said, it starts with me, and I'll get it fixed.
The Texas Southern game, that was the second to the last game of the regular season. So a whole season was played basically, and it was disheartening, obviously. We're just 4 games in, and to say that at this point in the season, I know it's got to be tough for you to stare at and look at and really deal with.
Yeah, that hurt. It was embarrassing. It was ultimately embarrassing. We worked too hard. It's different if we don't practice and we just go out and do that. That's expected, but these guys put, too much in to get their summers up and go out for 20 summer practices, and then also every day they go out and work their tails off. But we're not doing a good job from a retention standpoint, taking that practice aspect and carrying it over to the game. So it's there. We've seen it in spurts, and we just got to put the whole thing together. But we definitely can't start down 14 against anybody and think we're gonna have success or win at a high rate.
Well, let's look at some of the action, Coach. First drive at our own 25-yard line, 3-and-out, and a short Gorman punt. We went through 2 punters on Saturday. We'll talk about that. But McNeese got the ball at midfield to start the game, and bam, 20 seconds in, a touchdown.
Very first play, and they looking at the defense like the big brothers. This program has been rooted up from hard-nosed and tough defense, defense that makes you drive the football and not give up explosives. So when you see the first play of the game and it goes over your head versus a really good defense, the whole sideline, hey, we tell them it's a 4-quarter ball game, but the morale kind of just pops you like a balloon. And so the guys understand, it's only 6 points, but, in the amount in which that happened is so fast. So we got to reel them back in, and, hey, look, there's still a lot of football left to play. And those guys played hard after the fact, but we can't give up one-play drives against anybody.
Is that, when you look at the film, are they the type of team, or were they the type of team that stretched the field like that, or they just saw something to exploit on their first play?
Yeah, they did. I talked to Tony, now that the contract is, not renewed, he was able to give me some trinkets of what they saw. And then they saw some things, and he told me, and we did the same thing, vice versa. So they saw something on that play by him being a part of us, and also from a film standpoint that we had shown in the first 3 games. And this team really didn't stretch the field vertically a lot, especially in the middle. But they saw something, so we got to do a better job of cleaning that up, self-scouting ourselves, making sure it's not anything out there that we're giving up, to give ourselves a chance to be successful.
Well, we were down early in the first 20 seconds, 7-0. Then on the second drive, Coach, McDowell pass intercepted by Summerauer, so an opportunity early on.
Yeah, that was really big for him because we kind of challenged him, all year. He's the one that, preseason guy, got a couple accolades, but hadn't been playing up to his standards and had a really good week of practice. So to see him get his confidence back with that play was really huge. And so I look forward to him playing dominant, and playing at a high level for the rest of the year.
Couldn't cash in, though. Couldn't cash in on that. So when you're playing those type of teams, you get those opportunities. You got to find a way to get something out of it.
You got to get something, whether turn the field over, so defense don't have to go back out there as fast. But you got to get points, in some shape, form, or fashion. And we didn't do that versus a really improved offense that got a big-time quarterback.
So the third drive for McNeese at their own 35, Barbie Johnson from 5 yards out. So we were down 2 scores, Coach. Couple of short punts, and you made a change there at the punter position. Couple of tough punts. We obviously had one blocked. It was a tough day in terms of punting the football.
Yeah, Eli hadn't shown that all year, and he got 2 punts that just go through his hand, Mr. Charles. One he barely gets off because he dropped, and then the second one just go through his hand. They protected well, and when we did kick it, we covered it well. They didn't have any yards from the return standpoint, but it just went through his hands. First time that it ever happened, under my watch, and talked to him, just try to calm him down, but I couldn't let him, finish it. I could kind of look and tell by his temperament, he was out of it, and Frank came in, at least he caught it, and that's the only thing I was worried about at that time. It wasn't so much about the yardage. It was, hey, look, just get it off so the defense can go out and have another chance to get a stop.
Talk about the block that resulted in a touchdown for them. That was just one we just kind of handed to him.
Yeah, the ball go right through his hand. We got it protected well. It wasn't a deal where they blocked it. Because of the protection. It was a block that when you look at it, the ball go clean through his hand, hit the ground, he get it up, scramble, and try to, kick it, and all of a sudden they put their hands on it. You ain't got to do anything for that. And the disheartening part about that is that we work that every single day. If you go watch 1 hour practice after we get through it, before we even get started with practice, we go 10 minutes of punt, and then it's wet and balls on the ground, and he, having to catch it, and it's the first time I saw it. If I would have saw anything even likely to it, I would have made a transition. But, he's still young. He's a freshman, first time kicking, on this level for this long. And so, we're not throwing him away. He got to continue to just look the ball in and get it off. But in the meantime, we can't let him hurt the team by continuing, to having mishaps and such. So we know once Eli get a hold to it, he can get it and change the field over. But the most important thing is the small thing of just catching the kick.
Was that after that? Was that a point at which you decided you had to make a change right there and there?
Yeah, right then. Once I could look at it, you said it. I think when we first started doing this show, it was about human behavior. He's saying mentally he's good, but I can check the body language, and I can just tell, I would be doing him an injustice and the rest of this team by leaving him out there.
Well, it was 21-0, Coach, at the end of the first quarter. I mean, we were hit early, hit in the middle, and then the special teams 21-0 early. Talk about the first 15 minutes.
It's hard. It's hard versus a good football team to be down that much. Guys still had fighting, still had some chances, outside of that. But we just got to start a lot faster, on both sides, and even the kicking game, to give ourselves a chance to be in the fight, and then now offense, they up. They can do plays that we hadn't seen before because they got a little cushion, so we're seeing new looks that the guys normally, didn't see. Defensively, they can throw some things out there at us, and now we got to drop back and throw the football, a surplus of 40 times, and that ain't who we are. We're not built that way. We're not that kind of ball club. We'll run first, ball control, shot, RPO type spread offense. We're not a West Coast, throw it around 40 times. And so, offensive line did a really, really good job, for the most part. When you throw it 40 times, you're going to have a few sacks. But they did a good job in the run game and keeping them off the quarterback for the most part. But we got to clean up the drops. We got to clean up the pass protection. And also we got to do a better job of putting it on them, once those guys get open.
Well, it's 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. And then in the second quarter, McNeese was driving again, started their own 22 and got to our 20. We recovered a fumble in the end zone, Coach, and that was thought that was another opportunity for us, and it clearly was, and that was on the end where we were. That was clearly a fumble that they recovered that went out of the end zone, so it was a touchback. Talk about that, because that was a kind of a decent play. Could have been a momentum-changing play there.
Defense, those guys fighting. They fighting. That's one thing we expect out of them. We just got to clean up the tackling. We got to clean up the execution. We got too many guys right now. It's just they pressing and do too much. It's a lot of seniors over there, and a couple of them trying to get to the next level instead of letting the game come to them, and bad eyes, and everybody want to make that play instead of just saying, hey, let the defense work for me, do what I'm coached to do, and have some success. So those guys did a good job of blowing their neck right down at the end, establishing that fumble, so it did go out, and it was good to just get the offense the ball.
We did get the football. 7.5 minutes left in the second quarter, and we got to McNeese's 23, but then Vaughn threw an interception to Boozy Silvera. So talk about that in the end zone. For what we saw, wasn't too many receivers in the area.
Well, we had Damon. Damon we had a hide concept, there. kind of cut it short. But, he still got to put that ball on him more. He got to be able to tuck it and throw it away. We can't get a football away. Going off the tempo, had him moving. We was moving the ball pretty well, going at a high rate. Thought we had a look there. He just got to get that ball down. That ball can't be high. Anytime it's high across the middle, advantage defense. And so that was disheartening. We got to at least get some points out of that deal, especially with the defense giving us opportunity with a big stop to at least close that lead going into halftime. And so we didn't do a good enough job with ball security and him throwing it away.
Well, we did get an opportunity, and we did score late in the first half. 1:53 left, got the ball at our own 20. The three at our own 20-yard line, and then Warren a 32-yard touchdown catch. We were happy about that, but called for unsportsmanlike. So now Keani has it teed up from the 20-yard line.
Yeah, just still growing now. From what I told the intern from the ref was, they can party and do all that on the sideline, and it looked like they was out the field of play to me. But that ain't what he told me. And so he gave him 15 yards for celebrating. And I had some people around me, pregame, talking about the celebration aspect, and they said it was fine, as long as it was off the field of play. And so it happened. They called it, so we did it. So it's a coaching point for him, and I just told him, hey, look, next time, just get all the way to the sideline, get over by me, and you can party all you want to, for kid first college touchdown, but disheartening that he got to remember the fact it bagged us up 15. We kick it off, and then they end up scoring to canceling out that 7 points that we got, and that kind of was a real good punch going into halftime.
Yeah, it was a 30. So teeing it from the 20-yard line, a 32-yard kickoff return. So that agitated it as well. You had the unsportsmanlike, you push back 15, and then the 32-yard kickoff return, which set them up.
Yeah, it throws the whole timing off, and those guys normally kicking off from the 35, and all of a sudden it's all that extra space from being put back, so your lanes change, the distribution is totally different, and we put those guys at a bad situation, with that penalty, and then we got to clean it up, and I got to get it fixed, and so my thing to them is just as the group, hey, give it to the ref, get over to the sideline, do what you got to do. The camera still be on you if need be, from a celebration standpoint, but we can't do that, and that's a really good teaching point to show, that 7 points was just canceled out instead of going down 2 into half. Now we're down 3, which is even harder.
It was 28-7 at the half, Coach. So there were some chances there. McNeese kind of gave us a chance. We had an opportunity, couldn't cash in off a turnover. So 28-7. What was your discussion in the locker room?
Still a lot of football to play. I kind of saw it the way you just said it. There's some plays on the table, a little meat on the bone left. That if we can just kind of be sound and do what we're supposed to do, make some stops on defense and hit some guys open and catch some footballs in some space and continue to run the football and the O-line do their job. We'll have a chance. They'll give us opportunity to stay in it, but we got to seize the moment. And so that was kind of the thing, to those guys that, hey, look, it's a lot of football to play. 3 scores, we can get back in it, but here's the things we got to do to get back in it.
You were telling Cedric Tillman at the half, it was just like we could be there, but we're not there, but we could be there. Just the opportunities that were out there if we cash in and don't make as many mistakes instead of 28-7, it's something else.
Yeah, and and I've been saying it since day one. You look at this one, just similar to the first one. We got a redshirt freshman that catches a touchdown to get a 15-yard celebration that cancels out his first touchdown on a return. We got a freshman punter that let the ball go through his hands, and that's 14 points. We ain't even got to practice, Mr. Charles, to go do that. They work too hard, to be able to do that. That's a good football team. They move the ball. I can take the 50-yard throw. They work for that. They earned it. But we're not good enough to just give points away. And so that was disheartening because if you take those 2 away, that game is still in reach, and so you're so close, but you're so far, and we got to get it cleaned up. And every day we go out here to practice, and every day we get a chance to get out here on this field is a way for us to correct it and right these wrongs. But, man, it was just disheartening to not give ourselves a chance off of such a good week of practice. Those guys really did a good job preparing and doing things the right way, but we just got to get that carried over to the ball game.
The tough part about it, when you're playing these teams, when you're playing McNeese, when you're playing Vanderbilt, when you're playing UAB, just can't give those opportunities, and you got to cash in on the ones that you get because you may not get as many.
You're not. Very good team. I talked to Tony. This they 3rd year. They much more improved. Got a quarterback that's not screwing it up, that's taking care of the football. So every opportunity we get, we got to seize the moment. And, we're going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. We're going to keep stressing it. We're going to keep going over it until they understand it. And so a lot of it just growing pains right now, but we still where we need to be, just from a standpoint of guys still in it, guys still working and believing. They know if I catch the football, the way I get it back, I got to hold on to it. We catch it for 22, 23 yards. We turn around, and then the other team has it, We work ball security and things like that. So we got to cherish the moment, and we got to just be, inside and in tune to what we're going through. Every practice, every rep. And like I said, it starts with me and the coaches, and we got to get it fixed.
Case in point of opportunities in the third quarter, 12-11 left in the third. We get it at our own 7, and then our own 27, Marion Blake's pretty good catch. Was he stripped? Did he just put it on the ground? Because that was a turnover right there.
Yeah, just not disciplined enough to just hold a football. Fourth game of his career, finally get a catch. He quick turns, don't TCP the football, and they get it out, and that's just, it just knocks the wind out your sails, for him, for the team, and everybody else, because, everybody wants the ball, give me the ball, give me an opportunity to help the team, not necessarily from a selfish standpoint, but, hey, I can help the team, and then when we get these opportunities, it goes, back to the other team, and that was disheartening, that was like knocking wheel out your sails, so, we just got to overcompensate for the time that we have to be able to work and develop on, continue to catch the football, TCP the football, and the most important thing is the football. Keep it. We ain't worrying about the extra yards. Get down. Hey, we live to see another day.
All right, so help me with this. What is TCP?
Oh, you got to tuck it. You got to chin it. You got to pin it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, TCP. Got to TCP it. Tuck it.
Chin it,
and
pin it.
Okay. I'm going to have to write that down. TCP it. And that obviously didn't happen on that particular play. And so McNeese got the football, a short field right there. But it was 35-7 at that point with the score, taking advantage of that. Then Xavier Vaughn, coach, a 25-yard touchdown, made it 35-14. So obviously one of the big questions, and it's been the case, Xavier Vaughn got the start 2 weeks in a row. He accounted for over 300 yards. Just talk about his development. What are you seeing? Because fans are talking about a lot of different things. And from a number standpoint, Xavier Vaughn, solid, over 300 yards of total offense. What did you see from him against McNeese, and what have you continue to see going forward here to improve as we get into SWAC?
Just getting better, controlling the controllables and getting his teammates and putting them in the best position to be successful. Still got to work on some accuracy things. They got to get the football to some guys in some really good situations. But when you throw it 40 times, I don't care who it is, you're not going to be successful when you're not that style of offense. We're not designed to throw the ball 40 times. So we can't go down 14, 17, 21 and expect to throw that football around the yard like that. But he's leading. You see him be dynamic with his legs. Talk to Tony about him. They had some guys that kind of spy him, to try to keep him in the pocket, and he broke that. Made a big-time touchdown throw to Tyron on the right sideline. And so he's continued to grow and get better. He understands the system, but he's just kind of getting the guys to come along. We just got to get our guys. Right now our core guys are not helping us enough. We got Big Truck Griffin, man, our All-American. He got 2 big drops, that's early. That's kind of disheartening, when you see the guy who put the work in, got those accolades. You got to make that catch to make it easy on everybody, and the same thing with Malachi on defense. I don't think Malachi got a sack yet. That right there gets everybody going, for those guys that's high-level type players. And so Vaughn is giving us a chance to win. Got to protect the football, on the interception. But other than that, he's not losing the game. We're not helping him, and then we got to do things around him that just enhance his skill set.
There's some people who believe that from a mechanical standpoint and pushing the ball down the field. You said you didn't want him throwing it 40 times. That obviously is not the game plan. But pushing the ball down the field from a mechanical standpoint, I know you all work on that. Any issues there? Because fans are saying, what about mechanics? His mechanics in throwing the football.
He's been throwing that way for all this time. You don't take a senior who's got 5 months to play and change all that up. It's kind of like Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller mechanics. When you look at an average shooter, you would think it's off, but he's done it so long. It's just muscle memory now. It wasn't mechanic issues when he threw the touchdown. It wasn't mechanic issues when he threw those 19 completions. Now, some of those 41 incompletions were some mechanical issues, but you can't go in and wholesale all that. We're going to continue to work with him. It's a collective effort, but he's not losing a football game for us so far. And the minute I feel like he can't win it and he's putting us in a detrimental situation, then I'll make the necessary call. But right now, he's giving us every chance. You see him run around with his legs being athletic. You put the ball on some guys, and some guys drop it, and then sometime he, may get one high, outside. But that's going to happen with any quarterback. John Gibbs did it, Lenore's Footman. The natural passer, the true passer we had was Felix Harper. And, and so he's not that type of passer, but we're not that kind of offense either. But he's giving us an opportunity to win these 2 Saturdays we out there. We got to look at the defense. I hope them same people looking at the defense mechanics of how we're not tackling, how we giving up explosive. Charles, we ain't never gave up 200 yards in 3 games and 200 yards out of 4 games, 3 times. Even with Southern Miss and all them guys, Georgia Tech back in the day on the schedule. So we got to clean that part up. We know who we are, and that starts with defense to be able to get our offense more possessions. Until we get that cleaned up, I don't care about the offense. They going as long as they can hold on to it and be sound and be efficient. We can live with that. But I got to get this defense fixed.
I will say this about Vaughn. I interviewed him for the pregame. He's very well spoken, excited about the opportunity, and just trying to get into this thing.
Well, I ain't worried about all that, Mr. Charles. I'm worried about somebody going to get this offense up and down the field and score some points. He can speak Ebonics. All that's fine right now, Mr. Charles. We just got to get a good football team to believe and not turn it over. 10 penalties for 100 yards. That ain't what we coaching. That ain't what we teaching. We're an undisciplined ball club because that's what we're showing from the stats. But that ain't who we are. We got guys dropping it. We got guys not putting it on them consistently. The run game has been good, but you can't run the ball when you're down 21. It's hard to just keep handing it in there when you got a light box and then you run out of time. And then defensively, like I said before, we can't give up explosives, and we definitely hadn't been special on special team.
Well, fans are talking about the offense for sure. Is it a serious concern? Is it just a basic concern? And your thing about, and I know after the game, and you've said it a couple of times here, I got to fix it. Got to fix it. Is it a serious concern offensively right now as we get into conference play?
No, not under my watch. It isn't. I think the bigger fix is the defense. When you look at historically what this league has been built on, and when all corners won championships and been in the mix, and just with all of them, even the Gremlins other days, and Jackson going back to back. Them guys in the top tier. Categories of defense, and with a good defense, it gives the offense opportunities, and so those guys is playing about as well as I expect. We'll clean some things up, but defensively, that you can't beat anybody, Charles, if you're giving up 200 yards rushing.
We'll talk about the defense. One of the things I was impressed with, Coach, I thought receiving the football, Damian Jones, 7 catches for 105 yards. Talk about his story. I understand he earned his scholarship, and the last couple of games has had some really good catches.
Yeah, he's one of those developmental guys that we had, here. It ain't about the stars per se, it's about the production, and you will get a chance to be a star if you continue to work. He was a scout team guy for us on the top field that just was working, every day getting better, and but never had opportunity. So when I got it, he was one of the 3rd or 4th guys I called because I didn't know if he was coming back, because he was discouraged, and I just told him, hey, look, I can't promise you anything, but I can give you opportunity. And he said, Coach, that's all I wanted. And so to watch him, he wears number 82, Charlie Spiller, everybody come see, and he made some big catches, and everybody's like, where's 82, where's 82? And he's continued to work, continue to get better. He's a redshirt freshman, first time playing. You could just see the maturation between week 1 until now, just continue to get better. He had a drop, a fumble, and Truck was just going after the football and end up getting it. So we just telling him the same thing, got to get the football, got to hold on to it. But this is his first time playing 45 upwards of 50 snaps. And so, still getting better and improving, but he's a pup out there, and we're going to keep giving it to him.
Well, you talked about the running game, too. We had 217 net yards rushing. You talked about Xavier Vaughn, 127 yards rushing. We know what he can do running the football. Are you concerned about, and we've seen quarterbacks who kind of leave it all out there, and we see what happens. You hold your breath when he's out there running the football?
No, not really, because I know we got some quality guys behind him. That's why you signed 2 or 3 of them, and we got 4 scholarship quarterbacks, so, and we feel good about all of them. So he got to play like that. In order for him, understanding his limitation and capability, he has to be like that with the ball in his hand. When you're not a true drop back natural passer, then running the football has to be your MO, and he understands that. And so we just want him to consistently make the throws that he's supposed to make, and then just get a guys the opportunity to make 2 or 3 like Truck Griffin will do. We know he'll get going and he'll make those hard catches to help him, and then just protect the football. And if he can do that offensively and we can run it, we get this defense fixed and we sound in the kicking game play at a high level, then we're going to be right where we want to be.
I know Vaughn played the entire game with the score being what it was in the fourth quarter. Sometime in the second half, were you thinking about giving some other quarterbacks some reps?
No, I was going to let him start and let him finish. He got to catch up for all the reps and split times that we had in those first 2. So he got to get all of it. And he needs to show his team, to be out there and take those pounding and take those hits and be out there with those guys that's out there with him if he's going to lead us.
Halfway through the Cedric Thomas program, got a bunch of questions. We'll get to all of that. Defensively, we'll talk about that as well. Coach Thomas talked about special teams, so we'll get to all that. Put a capper on McNeese and get ready for a Valley team that has played all their games on the road. It's their home opener. It's a night game at Rice-Todd Stadium. New field turf, new video board, and Mississippi Valley and Alcorn coming up at 6 o'clock. I'm not happy about that 6 o'clock kick, Cedric Thomas. I was hoping at 3 or 4 or 2 so we get out of there.
Yeah, I don't think I ever played them at night.
Well, it's another reason, too. I want to eat some all-you-can-eat catfish at the place in Edabina. And Larry's Fish House, I talked to Mr. Larry, by the way. He said he'll keep it open for us, but I was just hoping for a 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock start. I was upset with Coach Wade. I talked to him at Media Day. Like, why are you playing us at 6 o'clock? He said there's a method to it. But, of course, we know why. New video board, new field turf, want to bring all that out in grandeur at 6 o'clock.
Gotcha. Well, I'm definitely going to hit him up once I get done with this because he screwed us on this time. But we'll be ready.
But you all are cousins?
Yep. He pretty much stayed with me, a lot of times in his, when he was at home, my mom fed him, his mom fed me, went to the same high school. So blood couldn't make us no more kin.
How have you talked to him already this week? Or
Nah, he don't get no love right now.
We got a lot of stuff to fix.
Ain't no doubt.
We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after this timeout here on the Cedric Thomas Show.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. Alright, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
All right, halfway through the Cedric Thomas program. Glad you can join us. Our producers, Cedric Tillman and Jamario Brooks. Glad you can join us. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. You can text a question, 601-301-2611. And on X, Tall Man Radio. Got questions on all the deals, including phone call coming in right now. Willie from Terry, Mississippi, checking in with us. Good evening, Willie. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How you doing today, Mr. Charles? How you doing, Coach?
Oh, I'm blessed.
Hey, so the only question I really have, Coach, is I got to come in and, of course, start. The defense has regressed from week 1 to now. The offense hasn't gotten off the mat. What changes are going to be made offensively and defensively? Are we going to roll with the same quarterback going forward? Because I know the original starting quarterback turned the ball over, so you went away from him because he was turning the ball over. Where this quarterback has turned the ball over the past 2 games. So are we going to make a change there and go with someone who may have more eligibility left after this year?
No, not at the moment. I don't feel like he's turned it over to, enough to keep us from winning the ball game or to hinder us winning the ball game. in totality. Right now the main thing is getting this defense fixed and continue to letting the offense kind of grow and be efficient in what he's doing. He's doing some good things, but definitely got to take care of football. But we got to get this special team and this defense fixed. It's just a lot of holes right now that I got to clean up, along with the coaching staff. So, right now I'm not foreseeing not playing him anymore or starting him until I feel, that he's not giving us opportunity to win every Saturday.
Yes, sir.
All right, Terry, you have a comment? Okay.
No, that was all.
Okay.
All I had, Mr. Charles. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Terry. We appreciate it. Coach, defensively, and we normally get after the quarterback. I was looking at the numbers, and let's look at that. Bakari McCall with 7 tackles, Kayvon Henderson with 6, Stamarian Edwards with 5, Jaquez Dew with 4, Malachi Bailey. Let's talk about that. I understand and kind of following social media, Malachi Bailey was in tears, was not happy with what's going on. We know with the defense where that starts. What are you seeing there?
Just pressing, guys pressing, trying to get to the NFL, off of one game or one play. Just got to let the game come to them. We kind of got mauled up front. Guys are not in their gaps. Guys are not playing sound. Guys are not where they're supposed to be. Tackling, it's just been horrendous these last 2 weeks. We got guys trying to get the kill shot, instead of just fundamentally wrapping the ball up, getting it to the turf. And now it's trickling down to the third level, which is the safeties. And so now you got everybody that's trying to make the big hit instead of just the fundamental play of getting him down to the turf. So I just told him you got to calm down and have fun. I think he just pressed with all these accolades and all these people saying these certain things and being projected, to may have opportunity. And so I just think that's overwhelming him instead of just being a college student, having the time of his life playing football on Saturdays. And I get it. I understand, Claude's there. He got some guys that he played with that's there, and he want that opportunity, since he was a little kid playing. But, you got to let it come to you what God got for you, God got for you. But you can't waste this opportunity and not enjoy it. And so that was my thing to him, being, just he feel like he's not doing enough, and I'm just telling him, hey, let the game come to you, do what got you here. And so I expect a better Malachi going forward, just to let loose and just have fun.
Well, speaking of pressure, I mean, we know what Braves fans expect, and you talk about the expectation, you talk about the standard. These first 4 games, there have been some good things, but, fans have their opinions about other stuff too. You feel like from the coaching and the players' perspective, pressure to want to do well, to want to do the right thing, want to win games. These have been tough games. Vanderbilt UAB playing up. Edward Waters, had some good plays there, but then you left, as you say, left a lot of meat on the bone. There's the first 4 games. You feel like there's tension, there's pressure, just trying to want to do well, want to do all the right things. You talk about the kill shot, make the perfect play, the right play. Do you feel like there's some pressure with this team the first 4 games, and the fact that we're not kind of where we want to be?
Yeah, I think it's more so on some of the elder statesmen. I think Truck just pressing. He trying to make the spectacular catch instead of just doing the small thing of just what got him here. He's never been All-American before. He's never had all the pre-hype, social media attention. He hadn't had all that, and I know he mean well and he work his tail off, but for a 21, 22-year-old student athlete, that could be, a lot on him. And the same thing with Malachi. He's our Mr. Alcorn. He does so many things behind the scenes, and want to make it and having a family and want to be able to do well for his mom. But, and Steve also, Steve playing his tail off, and, scouts come to the Vanderbilt game and all of a sudden they see him, and they want to talk to him. And so I'm just telling them guys, man, you just got to settle down and have fun. At the end of the day, you don't get these games back. That's 4 games that's gone, but you got to play well and you got to just go have fun and just let loose. So it shouldn't be no pressure on them. They're putting the pressure on themselves, and we got to do a good job as coaches to just kind of, hey, buffer them from it and just let them know, hey, look, go out and have fun and do what got you here. But it is a standard, and we understand that. This ain't no rebuilding process. This ain't no situation where we're coming in trying to, bring some, alive from the dead. I've been a part of this program for a long time, and so I know what it looks like. I know what it should look like, and I got to get it to that, and I got to get the coaches to continue to understand it also.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Nikki from Mobile, Alabama, will be there very shortly as we're playing Alabama State in the Port City. Nikki joining us from Mobile, Alabama. Hurricane heading close to there, and Tallahassee don't know about the FAMU Alabama A&M game. They're talking about that now with a big hurricane heading in the Florida Panhandle. Good evening, Nikki. How you doing?
Good evening. How are y'all?
I am fine.
Good deal. Good deal. So, Coach Thomas, first of all, I want to thank you for stepping into this role and for your commitment to leading our team towards victory. I appreciate your efforts so far. I feel that it's important to address some ongoing issues that have been affecting our performances, particularly with special teams and offense, with over the past 3 years. The recent game against McNeese, we gave up 42 points, which is the most in our school history. And then our offense, is struggling to get move the ball effectively, and our running game hasn't been as strong as we need it to be. As we look ahead to the SWAC play, especially with tough back-to-back games against Southern and Grambling, we can't afford to carry these issues into these matchups. It seems, other programs, including Grambling, are making progress, and I'm sure we all want to make sure we do the same. So I'm curious, what strategies do you envision implementing to address these challenges? I believe we need immediate action to get our team back on track and avoid potential setbacks. But I'm curious, and I look forward to hearing your insights.
Yeah, that starts in the morning by practicing. In order for us to rid some of these, mishaps, we got to, from a retention standpoint, we got to go out and we got to continue to work. We got to continue to get better. We got to continue to do a good job from a coaching and teaching and strategy standpoint to make sure we're putting them in the best position to be successful. And right now, just Mississippi Valley is the most important thing of what we got going on. Right now it's the it's the next Saturday. It's the most important Saturday, regardless of the conference play or non-conference play. We just got to play well. The wins and losses will take care of themselves, but the brand of ball that we're teaching and we're coaching, is not being shown. And so I got to get it squared away, and I'm going to do it. The guys got to understand the importance of doing the small things and not taking it for granted, and we understand, what that looks like. And so, it starts again, at 7 a.m. in the morning, on the football field, to go out and practice and continue to get better. It's a long season. It's a lot of progressive input that has to happen, and we know the guys will be up for it, and we definitely up for it as a coaching staff.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Nikki. We appreciate it, and be safe down there on the Gulf Coast. It looks like it could be a Category 3 hurricane in the Florida Panhandle. Tallahassee, they're supposed to host Alabama A&M this weekend. Will that game take place? Will it be moved? Who knows? We'll take a break here. We'll continue with our questions and comments. Got that from the text line, 601-301-2611 on X, Tall Man Radio, and we'll get to that coming up. And we'll get ready for Mississippi Valley, a team that's hungry, the team that's looking for a win, and we go there to Rice-Totten Stadium in Mississippi Valley State. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this on the Cedric Thomas Show.
Here at Alcorn, we understand that we share some commonalities with one another, so in some ways we're already family.
Seeing everybody, seeing more people that looked like me and had the same mannerisms as me, it was fantastic.
The variety of people here really made me feel at home.
When I stepped on campus, it felt like I was supposed to be here.
When they say the grass is greener here, they really mean it.
Founded in 1920, the Southwestern Athletic Conference has produced some of the most iconic names in sports. Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Alcorn State, Bethune-Cookman, Florida A&M, Grambling State, Jackson State, Mississippi Valley State, Prairie View A&M, Southern, Texas Southern, and the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff have united to embark on a new era of greatness. The Southwestern Athletic Conference, building champions for life.
Welcome you back to the Cedric Thomas program. Coach, from the text line, Coach, the only positive this person saw Saturday was that you switched punters, and you talked about that earlier. Other than that, offense, defense, and special teams were disappointing. My question is, are you actively looking for other quarterbacks for next season? I would not be surprised if the non-playing QBs enter the portal. Is that a concern going forward, or is that just you're just dealing with what you got to deal with right now?
Yeah, we got to take care of what the main thing is right now. We got 8 games left, and so recruiting, guys out on the road recruiting, but we're not recruiting any other guys now. We're recruiting the guys that we got, and so if they decide to go to another institution, that's awesome. We just want to see these young brothers do well, and we'll do what we have to do from that standpoint. But right now we're dealing with situations associated with Mississippi Valley and getting better and putting the best quarterback out there when time permits.
From the X line, you talked about special teams. Your goal with special teams is to have kind of every coach kind of be involved with that. A question about naming a special teams coach, because our special teams has had some issues.
Yeah, right now Derek Welch, he's kind of taking the spearhead in that, from a totality standpoint. He kind of organizes, but everybody helps, and that's going to happen regardless. It was the same way, at other institutions, or just how it's ran. One person can't handle all the units and take care of all those different student athletes, so it's going to be some assistance that's going to be needed. And so regardless of who has a title, everybody will be, a part of the help. And you can tell me, a drill to keep the punter from just dropping it without anybody being around. I'm opening, for suggestions. He was out. He had a glove on Sunday trying to get some extra support, and so we'll continue to work on it, continue to do it. We got the protection squared away, no blocks. We got the coverage part taken care of. Now he got to hold on to it, and then from a kickoff standpoint, that's one of our better units, and so we'll be better. It ain't no doubt in my mind. We just got to hold on to it. We got to kick it and turn the field over.
Speaking of special teams and kicking, that kick-catch interference, we're talking about it. We talked about it for Everett Waters, and we had a situation that happened Saturday with that. What was the explanation, and was that what it was?
Yeah, I didn't think so. It was a couple calls that I was just kind of like, hey, it is what it is. If you call it, that's what it is. But just trying to find, we saw a hole, saw something, and wanted to be aggressive in it, try to get the offense the ball. But he said that Tyron touched it too early, but the fair catch wasn't made in a timely manner, so we thought we could have it. And so they gave us 15 yards, for it. And so that was just one of them deals. But, I didn't agree. However, if it's called, then, that's what it is.
Also from the text line, comment, Coach, from a fan, obviously, we're getting frustrated. Defense is having to carry the team, and that's too much. The offense needs some work. Starting running back and second did not make it to the end zone on Saturday. The starting running back has not made it to the end zone in 4 games. Talk about the running game, Coach, and where you are with that. We had over 100 yards rushing. Of course, Vaughn had over 100 yards. B.J. Rogers, Sewell. Talk about that.
That's one of the bright spots when you look at the numbers and how efficient we be in yards per catch. It's just so hard to continue to do it when you're down 21 points. We can just keep running it down 21, and then eventually the time will run off the clock. But I'm not seeing the same defense that person is seeing as far as carrying us. When you're giving up 200 yards rushing, you're not carrying a team. And so we got to get better on all 3 phases. Everybody deserves the blame, including all the coaches, because it starts with us and it ends with us, but ultimately it's me, and I got to get it done, and I got to get it done fast. And so right now nobody's carrying anybody. Everybody got to hold their own weight and got to continue to get better. But defensively, we definitely can't let opponents rush the ball 200 yards on us and have almost 500 yards total offense. And offensively, if we can run the ball like we did, the first half, and not get down so far, I think that's going to be who we are, with the quarterback being efficient of throwing guys open.
Well, another text, Coach, to your point in talking about all aspects, respectfully, all aspects of our game needs work. Defense lacks the ability to make adjustments. Offense is out of sync, no rhythm, and on special teams, confusion. And we talked, one of the things was that, unfortunately, we caught a punt inside our 5-yard line. And so, and that's, yeah, I know that adds to the frustration of it all.
And we go over it every day. Put your heels on the 5, don't move. And when Omarion goes back to catch it, he said, Coach, I didn't want them to down it, before it got to the end zone. But we worked that every single day. And we'll continue to work it, starting in the morning, to just reiterate it over and over and over. But I also know that that's a redshirt freshman that had never played. It's his 4th game. And, sometimes, some of those growing pains happen. But, we got to hurry up. We're not babies and freshmen anymore, and we gotta clean it up. We got to clean it up fast.
Let's go back to the phone line, 601-877-6595. Of course, a lot of interesting Braves fans, and just, before we get to Virgil, Coach, I know fans are concerned. I hear about it. They talk about it on social media, and just we're at a point right now for some people, some folks are saying they're not going to come to homecoming. They're just concerned. They're disappointed, frustrated. What do you say to Braves fans at this point? It's been tough. It's been tough sledding. SWAC plays coming up, but just to kind of keep everyone's heads above water. You said you're going to try to fix things. What do you say to Braves fans that are really, really concerned?
Well, that's disappointing that regardless of how we playing, they don't want to come and see these young brothers that's vested in their institution to come watch them, regardless if you just come and watch football, but just come and cheer the guys on. They need you. It's more than just football for some of these guys. Some of the people that do support them, they're like parents to them, and so it's almost like you're turning your back on them just because things are not going well. I feel how you want to feel about me. From a leadership standpoint, I got tough shoulders. It's disheartening to me. I got to hear from my wife and my family. However, don't do it to these young babies who look forward to seeing the people in the stands rooting them on and at the tailgate. So, that's what I tell them. If you're a true fan and you vested, in this program, regardless of the wins and losses, you'll come and support these young brothers.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. Virgil joining us. Virgil, good evening. How you doing?
Hey, Charles, how you doing? And hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm blessed.
Coach, I want to kind of piggyback on what the young lady, and I think you may have addressed it a little bit, but again, our Achilles heel has been our special teams and our offense. And our offense is just kind of slow to get going, and then we just have to revert back to, it's not working. Some of the plays we're sending in is not as effective as it should be. I mean, Coach, to what Charles was saying with frustration, I kind of understand it, but I just want to know: is there much being done to kind of curb this? Because we want better for our boys. We just want them to go out and play football and enjoy themselves and just have a good time, just like you mentioned previously. But we also want to win the games. That's the largest margin of win McNeese has had against us, and it was kind of disheartening. I actually cried, Coach. I'm just going to be honest with you.
You too.
I like to see my team win.
Yeah, you wasn't by yourself. Everybody in that building invested. And didn't nobody take it hard as me from sleep deprivation, because it means everything to me. I've been tied to this program since 2001, and nobody took it harder than me. And so it's more than just going out there having fun and playing football. These guys got a whole lot of things going on outside of that, especially when you tie social media and so many other things that today that they have to go through. They have to go through than I and you had to go through. And so we got to keep all that, streamlined, but also going out and just doing what we coach to do. All these scenarios, we can pull up, the practice film, and we can also, get you that practice so you can see, and you can ask the young brothers. We go over these scenarios every single day. And, for some reason, it's not rearing his head on Saturday, but that don't mean we continue to stop teaching, loving them up and putting them in the best position to be successful. And so we know it's a long season. We know that it takes work, and it takes it on both ends. And so we up for the challenge. I'm up for the challenge, and I know these young guys are too. Nobody wants to win as much as they want to, but also it's some things that come with just winning. When you think about that championship run, guys just did not practice and not go hard and win championships. And so these guys are learning how to do it, and we're putting them in the best position to be successful. And whatever we got to do to neglect some things or change some things, we're up for it. But right now, we just got to let the main thing be the main thing, and that's getting better, coming out at practice, putting ourselves in situations where we don't do what we're not coached to do on Saturdays.
Okay, well, I appreciate you, Coach, and I just wish you all the best, and I just hope that we can come out of this thing victorious, because we're rooting for you, Coach. We're really, really rooting for you.
I appreciate it. We're gonna win. We're gonna do well.
Virgil, thank you.
Coach,
we appreciate
I believe in you, And Charles, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your call. There was a text that just came in, Coach. You talked about the quarterback situation, playing Hartsfield, Trey Lawrence, and get them prepped. But obviously, you're sticking with your quarterback rotation with Vaughn and just going from there.
I play all of them if it's gonna guarantee us a win. But ain't no guarantee we put them in that we're gonna get a win. We're gonna put the best person out there that gives us an opportunity to win. Every Saturday. And so. I talk to those guys. They understand, what's at stake. And this is the first time that they've been discussed and understanding of what's going on. I talk to, pretty much all of them that comes in and want to know, hey, what's their status and where they stand. And so there's an open dialogue there. But, right now, hey, we're going to let Vaughn, do it until I feel like the coaching staff feel like that he can't help us win. And right now, he's doing the best that he can. That's helping us. But there's a lot of other things that's around him that's stopping them from being successful, and I get it. The quarterback is the figurehead. But please don't forget about all those other phases that we got to get fixed also. And we will continue to work on that to get that fixed, and I promise you.
Speaking of getting an area fixed, you've talked quite a bit tonight about the defense. You were the former defensive coordinator here. You handed the keys, obviously, to Coach Roberson, and you were excited about that. Do you feel like you have to get more involved with the defensive side of the ball? Because you've talked about the defense quite a bit tonight. Do you feel comfortable with that, or do you feel like Coach Roberson's got a handle on it? It's just a matter of tweaking here, tweak there to fix the defense?
I got my hands on pretty much all of it, and so I get in with them like we just got through doing and continue to have some implementation stuff. He'll call it, and whatever I got to do to help him. But it's definitely got to be some help involved. And we got some things squared away that's going to be a little different to help not only him and the coaching staff over there, but the players also. And so it's going to be some things that to help us improve to get better. And the same thing on the offensive side in the kicking game. So, but that's our staple. That's who we are. And so we got to get that fixed, and we'll gradually, and fast on the special team and also on the offensive side. But we know who we are as a program. We know what this program was built on. And so we got to stop the bleeding, and we got to get it taken care of ASAP.
All right, Coach, as we turn the corner here and get ready for Mississippi Valley, you look at this Valley team. They lost to Tennessee State 41-21, Lamar 28-14, 59-8 to Murray State, and lost 66-0 to Nicholls State. What does that mean as they play their first home game against their rival, the Alcorn State Braves?
They scoring points. When you look at it, they scoring points. Not in the last one, but we played one of those 1AA, Southland schools. Kendrick, he's doing a really good job with that team. They're gonna be chomping at the bits to be back at home. Got some speed on the edge. Number 6, number 13, those guys can move. With the best of them. So we got to do a really good job of creating a new line of scrimmage. On the offensive side and being able to, rush the ball like the caller said. We got to get the running back in the end zone. Just by making holes and being efficient in the run game. We got to take care of the football as always from a quarterback standpoint and a wideout standpoint. The good thing is, knock on wood, hadn't been a running back, to fumble the ball so far. So that says, a lot about what Coach Boo's doing from that standpoint. And defensively, we got to attack. We got to get back to moving people around and playing at a high level and playing fast. And barring the punter situation, we got to just catch the football and we got to punt the football. And if we do that, we're gonna have a chance against anybody we play against.
We only averaged like 30 yards per punt for the game, so that's a short field no matter how you look at it.
No matter what. And Eli got the strong leg. That's how he won the job. His leg is definitely stronger than Frank. But Frank, catches the football. And when you can catch the football right now, the main thing is just catching it, and if he can catch it and kick it, we'll deal with the results. But, we're not turning our back on Eli. We think, that was just, something he did. He'll shake it off and we'll see how practice goes to see if he can, right that wrong and just be able to catch it and turn the field over for us.
When you look at Valley passing the football, Jay, they played 3 quarterbacks, Sisk Williams and Ruben Lee. What do you see in Valley's passing game? They got a lot of guys on the edge. They'll probably run the stretch plays, the jet sweeps. They're going to run the football, obviously, to slow the game down.
Nah, I don't think they're going to slow it down. I think they feel like they got a chance just like, anybody else. When you watch our tape, what makes you want to slow it down against us? I think he's going to keep the pedal to the metal. All 3 of those guys are dynamic with their legs, can run, except, 11. He's the true passer, but can get downhill. Really good freshman that played a lot last year. Who's kind of struggling right now, but coach is doing a good job of putting them in some situations, and those guys, can be dynamic with the ball in their hand, not only rushing but throwing the football. You watch them against Lamar, and they right there in it, and Lamar's a really good football team, and so we got our hands full just being able to have a couple different game plans for all three of those quarterbacks.
Well, we got 2 minutes left. Offense, defense, special teams, keys to victory, and what should Braves fans be excited now that we're done with the non-conference? We played up, we played down, we played in the FCS. What can Braves fans be excited about here as we get ready to go to Mississippi Valley and SWAC games the rest of the way?
The 3 keys is going to be defensively. We got to tackle the football, not give up explosives. Go back to just having fun and getting the ball out there like Ed did. Offensively, we got to run the football. We got to maintain the time of possession. We got to create new holes, and then we got to be efficient, throwing the football. We got to protect the football. And special teams, we got to catch it, we got to kick it, we got to turn the field over and be special. And if we do that, then Brave Nation they'll be excited about the product. It don't seem like it, but it's close. It's 2 or 3 plays here that's keeping us from being a complete ball club. And so at the end of the day, it's a great institution. It's a great brand of football that we're going to continue to put out, and that's been put out in the past. But we just got to right these wrongs, and it'll be a really good opportunity to do that on Saturday so they can expect a really good brand of football that they'll be proud of. And if not, then, I'll take the blame again. But I don't foresee it continuing to happen. We just right on the cuffs of being able to get to where we want to go, but we can't turn it over. We can't have bonehead penalties, and we definitely can't have 10 penalties for 100 yards.
So out of all the first 4 games, UAB, Vanderbilt, Edward Waters, and McNeese, Cedric Thomas feels like we are this close to turning the corner and having something special happen.
Yeah, well, no doubt. I honestly feel like we can be a good ball club. If we ain't down 21 or 14-0, if it happens, hey, we still got to bow our sleeves up. We got to play. But, we're just not constructed right now to play behind 21-0, and so I feel like we're going to come out, right the wrongs. The guys understanding, why we're in the situation. We identified the problem. Now we just got to take care of the solution.
6 o'clock kickoff from Rice-Totten Stadium in Itabena. New turf, new video board. It's going to be a good one. SWAC games the rest of the way. Coach, we appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And we'll talk to you coming up next week right here.
Sound good.
That'll do it for the Cedric Thomas program. Glad you can join us on the Braves Sports Network. We'll talk to you next Monday night as we'll recap Valley, and we come home for homecoming with UAPB. For our producers, Jamario Brooks, Cedric Tillman, we appreciate all the calls and texts and tweets. We'll do it all over again next Monday night. We'll talk to you then. So long.